Today, we're talking about asking for help at work when you desperately need it but feel like you can't. The version that sounds like, I should be able to figure this out on my own, or everyone else seems to know what they're doing. Or if I ask, they'll think I'm incompetent. What most advice gets wrong is this: the barrier isn't pride or stubbornness. Today, we're using our framework to understand what's really happening.
Welcome to Communication Skills for Working Women. I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Rose May. Do you find yourself second guessing or avoiding conversations because you're worried about being misunderstood?
You're not alone. On this show, we're sharing tangible tools for assertiveness, emotional resilience, and real life communication wins and fails.
Let's sharpen our communication together.
This is the story of my life, really trying to do it all by myself. Now, this is true for me in almost everything that I do. Now, if my kids are listening to this, they may say, "Excuse me, you ask for our help all the time." But that's not exactly what I'm talking about here. So, let me paint a picture for you to help you understand what I really mean. So, I'm sitting at my computer. I have three spreadsheets open, actually, one spreadsheet with like 27 tabs. Rosemary's shaking her head yes right now.
Yeah, I got the same thing. Yeah.
Two Word docs at least, sticky notes everywhere. And if you know me, you know that there are sticky notes involved. The plan is mostly mapped out, timelights, budget columns, speaker ideas. It really all looks organized. And then there are these blank spaces, big glaring holes in the plan. I really can't move forward unless I decide on a few key things. And just keep staring at the screen thinking, why don't I know what to do here? I mean, this isn't my first event. I should be able to figure this out. I didn't preface this with, I have done a lot of event planning. So this is regarding an event. I could make a decision. I'm perfectly capable of choosing and deciding, but what if it's the wrong one? What if I miss something obvious? What if I overlook something someone else would have caught immediately? I know exactly who I should call. They would take the call. They're generous and they've helped before. And yet I still sit there staring at my computer. I don't want to bother them. I should be able to solve this on my own. If I call, does that mean I don't actually know what I'm doing? So I'll draft an email or a text. No, maybe I'll do a phone call. No, maybe I'll wait until I have more of it figured out. So I just keep tweaking, formatting, adjusting cells, rereading the same paragraphs, rewriting the same paragraphs. I'm laughing, but it really actually feels awful and frustrating. And to the point where I'm even agitated. Like my kids will come in and ask me something, I'm short with them. I start just spinning. I'm almost like ruminating on this event and these holes, these gaping holes in the event. And knowing that I need to move forward and I'm not. I'm just sitting there pretending to work, but not moving forward at all. Then I choose to get honest with myself and I realize that I don't need to prove anything. I really need clarity and I need to figure this out. So I identify the question. I don't get vague. I'm not panicking. The real question, where are the real gaps? What do I really need help with? I pick up the phone, and here's the part that really matters. Every single time, 100% of the time, the response is helpful. Now, the response isn't always the answer, but it's helpful in processing, helpful in expanding my ideas, helpful in seeing angles I hadn't considered, helpful in collaborating. Not once has someone said to me, "Wow, I can't believe you didn't know that."
No.
Or, "Why did you call me?" Not once have I regretted making that phone call. The only thing that consistently costs me is the delay in picking up the phone or sending that email.
I feel like I can identify with that. the cost is the delay because I feel like when I get to that point, after I've done what I've been putting off for so long, I'm like, why did I take so long to do
right?
it? That could have been done in 10 minutes, and I spent like 3 hours trying to figure this out on my own when I could have just called someone and asked for help.
And if you're like me, you're not even exaggerating in the three
No, no, I'm
hours.
being serious. Like it really did cost me 3 hours.
And the actual phone call and conversation literally was 10 minutes
Yep,
and productive.
yep, yeah, yeah. So what's underneath all of that?
Oh, do we really have to go into that?
Yeah,
Okay,
and I'm
everybody.
glad it's you, not me.
Hey,
Uh,
I want you all to know I really don't want to do this. I
mm,
don't, but I'm going to because I think it's really helpful to truly identify what our hidden commitments are and what our underlying beliefs are, because this is something that shows up for me all the time. Like I gave you an example within planning a big conference, but this even happens for me when I'm planning our family reunion or even our week for our family. Or, I mean, this happens to me all the time. So I
hey,
really do. I think I know what my hidden commitments are, but I'm gonna put it aside and let Rose take me through it.
okay. So step one, what do we actually want? And most people want something like I want to ask questions without feeling stupid. I want to get the help I need without looking needy. I want to learn quickly without confirming I'm behind. I want to signal initiative, not incompetence. I think incompetence is probably the biggest one for me. Elizabeth, when you're thinking about like this particular situation, what did you actually want?
What did I actually want in this situation? So actually what's coming to my mind is like I wanted to be able to just figure it out on my own is what I actually wanted or what I think I wanted, but I couldn't. So what I actually wanted was like a collaborative team
Hmm.
and like just working together, like collaboration. That's what I actually wanted
Hmm. So you wanted some collaboration without what?
without me having to say that I needed help.
Mm.
I
Okay.
wanted just like to be multiple people to be talking about it and working on it without me having to be like, oh, I'm not sure what to do here.
Right. What did you do instead? This is step two. What are you currently doing that is limiting you or that is working against your goal?
Right. So I spent hours trying to figure it out on my own, like reworking all the details, thinking things through with the information that I had, avoiding any conversation or phone call or letting anybody know that I was stuck in any way.
And I think this is probably common. I mean, I just said that I did this. I do the same thing. I try to figure it out alone, even when I know like this should not take 3 hours, and then it does. Like I do that all the time, and oftentimes people will maybe ask around indirectly instead of just going to the right person and
Yeah.
asking them, or they'll wait until they're so stuck that they're beyond the point of recovery, which, ugh, that sounds awful. Sometimes people will apologize excessively when they finally do ask. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I know this is my fault. Like, I know that I should know how to do this, right? Or sometimes they'll just ask peers instead of supervisors because we want to avoid the judgment. I know I've done that actually many times. I've asked a peer instead of a supervisor because I wanted to avoid looking like I was incompetent. It,
Well, yeah, the like they avoid looking like you're incompetent, also just like kind of gauging yourself. Like,
yeah.
is this a good question? Is this valid? Like, I mean, that's avoiding that. Yeah.
No, but I think that that is kind of a way of checking or measuring where maybe you like against where you think you should be versus like
Hmm.
where you are. And I don't think that's necessarily a character flaw, but it could be used as a protection strategy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I talk about like what I'm afraid of or what I'm worried about. What were you afraid might happen? This is step three, like identifying what are you afraid might happen.
So with this was like with a bigger conference, and I was worried that I wasn't going to be viewed as a good leader if I didn't know the answer, which is actually not in alignment with my values,
Mm.
but it is very much in kind of how I have viewed leadership or authority in the past. Like I know that it's something that I am changing my view on. And so it still shows up as a worry for me.
And I think this is valid too, especially as we're talking about being women in a workplace environment, right? I think like being worried about these things is totally valid because in the past, perhaps there have been experiences where this has happened, or just speaking generally and more broadly, like women are underestimated for their abilities and their talents and their leadership skills. So this is totally legit, right? I know I've had like worries that, people will think that I'm not smart enough for this job. Or I actually have thought about this. I'm like, they're gonna regret hiring me. Uh, for real. I'm like, if I go ask them this, they'll be like, who dropped the ball and let this person through? Or, they'll lose confidence in me. Those are common thoughts. I'll be seen as high maintenance. Everyone else figured this out already. That is something too. I'm like, how did everybody else know what to do? And
Right.
I don't know what to do.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
That is real of like, wait, I should know. Like the
Yeah.
worry of just like, wait, I should know what to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and again, these are protective measures, right? They persist because they feel like they're keeping us safe. And this is kind of how our brain works, right? Our brain is always looking to preserve our safety. In these types of situations, though, they're really keeping us stuck. So if we're moving into step four, thinking about like our hidden commitments, what are we committed to underneath? What would you say you were committed to in that situation?
I was committed to looking like I knew, like that I knew that I had all the answers, that I could figure it out. That's
Absolutely.
100% what I was committed to. Like my self-image that I looked like I could do it all.
And I know for myself, like I was 100% committed, and this is actually very true, and like proving that I deserve to be here, that
Mm,
I'm not just another DI hire, that I know what I'm doing, I have the skills, I have the expertise in doing this, and I feel that regularly, actually, that I need to prove that. And again, this goes with previous experiences of people assuming that I'm here because I don't have the skills, I'm just here because they needed to fill a quota. Like I've actually had people ask me questions related to that. So for me, like, oh yeah, multiple times. So for me, like I do feel like there is a part of me that needs to prove that I deserve to be here. And that makes sense, right? Like that it makes sense that we are feeling this way or that our brains are even operating in this way, that we need to stay committed to these things. And at the same time, they may keep us isolated, obviously inefficient if I'm spending 3 hours on something that takes 10 minutes and
right.
and stressed out.
Right.
Stressed out. Yes. So Elizabeth, what were you assuming for this commitment to make sense? What were some of your big assumptions? This is step five.
This framework, I mean, we've walked through this framework how many times, and every time that I am doing it for myself, honestly, with a situation, it kind of makes my skin crawl
Mm,
because I'm like, man, why am I assuming this? And, you know, why am I assuming that the people that I'm working with are going to view me as incompetent? Like, why am I assuming that? Like, and that's my big assumption that I'm going to be viewed as incompetent if I can't figure it out.
mm,
That's and and like I think about that with you sometimes. Like with work stuff with the podcast, like if I can't figure this out, Rose is going to think I'm incompetent. Like and so this is a very like universal assumption that I make. So
yeah.
like it's not specific to these individuals, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And just just so everybody knows, like I actually don't do any of the work. Elizabeth does all the work, so her thinking that I'll be thinking that she should know how to do something. I don't even do any of the work. Elizabeth does like 90% of the work. So that's funny to me. Um, and also I know how that feels that like like competent people, they shouldn't need help. They shouldn't be asking for
Right.
help, right? Or I know one thing for me that's especially true is that people will judge me for not knowing the things that I should know. And you know why I make this assumption? Because I judge people who don't know the things that they should know. When someone walks in and asks a question and I'm like, really, you should know this? I'm 100% judging them. So my big assumption is that someone is going to do that to me too,
Mm.
because I do it to other people. So this is giving me an opportunity to reflect about how I judge people. And here's the thing, these assumptions feel absolutely true because people like me judge. Um, but it's not always truth, right? Like some of them are testable. Like even what you were just saying just now, Elizabeth, like for me, that's not true because I don't do anything. I show up. So there are opportunities for us to test them, and often when we test them, we can find that they're not accurate, or maybe they're a bit more nuanced than our anxiety suggests. So the next step is actually going to be experiment, right? So asking for help in ways that signal competence. So Elizabeth, I'm actually curious, what did you do?
So what I did, I have within this same event that I was working on, there were two different people that I needed to call and figure things out with. One guy, I gave him a call and I was just like, I'm stuck on it on this part and blah blah blah. I can't remember exactly what I said. And he was just like available right then and was all in it and was like, let's figure it out. Let's make these assignments. And like literally within 10 minutes, we had this one whole section figured out. The other one I texted, it was a woman that I texted, and there was this one part where we were just needing to kind of figure out the flow of things.
Mm.
And she was like, let's go over to the venue and let's just walk through it. And so we didn't figure it out in that moment, but we did within the week. And then, like, we had a plan of how we were going to figure it out. And so I didn't even think about it after that text. And so. It was great. Like I got the exact help that I needed. One was the help that I thought that I needed, where he was able to help me figure it out in the moment. And the other was help that I didn't even know I needed of like going and physically walking through the
Yeah.
place.
Oh, that was very nice
Yeah.
and sounded pretty easy.
It was very easy, actually.
That's
It
very...
was very easy.
So, what I'm hearing you say is that you asked and things happened. So, yes, so the things that actually happened were it sounds like no one reacted or responded negatively to you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was no negative response at all in
Yeah.
any way.
Okay. And like after you asked, like how did you feel after you asked? After you got like once you asked, you finally got the question out or you finally, did the thing. How did that feel?
Right. That feeling of collaboration came, like
Mm,
that hope and what I really wanted, really, it came
mm.
through taking the action that I was trying so hard to avoid.
So as you're like reflecting on this, do you feel like, kind of moving with that discomfort to ask, do you feel that that outweighed like feeling that collaboration outweighed the discomfort of asking?
Absolutely. Feeling the collaboration outweighed the discomfort completely. And actually moving through this and me hearing what my big assumptions were that people would view me in this way and recognizing that this is like across the board in
Mm.
all scenarios. This is why I didn't want to do this, everybody, because this is the vulnerable piece for me. Like we could just leave it at that and be like, "Oh yeah, we here's your big assumptions and here you move forward." But when I recognize that I'm making this very unhelpful big assumption across the board, and then even when I hear Rosemary talk about her big assumptions, I'm recognizing within me that this is far deeper and actually needs probably some professional help. Because having a big assumption like that, that's really intense, that I think people are going to feel that like I'm incompetent if I don't know things like all the time, like with my spouse, with my children, with people that I work with people that I serve with peers, with doctors. Like, as I'm saying this, I'm like, this affects every part of my life. That's a pretty good indicator that there's something really deep in there that needs some help. And it's not just as, not that like mindset shifts are simple, but that there are times when it's important to get the professional help to really help you move through some different things.
Well, I like how you're saying this, Elizabeth, because I think that the insight that you have about this affecting different domains of your life, like multiple domains of your life, is actually an indication that maybe we need to take another step or lean into this a little bit more, right? Like really working through this. And so I appreciate you sharing that because I think that sometimes like a lot of the questions that I hear is like, how do I know when some of these things are like something I can fix with a framework and something
Right,
that probably needs more attention, right?
right.
And I think that is a perfect example of something crossing multiple domains or aspect of your lives. That's actually criteria for sometimes uh, first for other things, right? Is
Mhm.
like that it's impacting multiple areas of your life and it's not just situational, right? So
And it doesn't really match. Like when you
yeah,
were telling your example of like judgment, and you're like, well, it's because I judge. And so then I feel like I'm going to get judged. Like that, like situational, right? Like, okay, I'm going to take a step back, evaluate that, move on. And as I was telling mine, I'm like, whoa, this is like really big.
so you felt it in a different place, probably.
Oh,
It sounds like than I did.
yes. And even I could tell in like the ease in which you were sharing it, I'm like, this does not feel easy for me in sharing this. Like this is in my body, this is in my heart, like this is in all of me, and this doesn't match the scenario.
Yeah.
Like this is what I'm feeling and how I'm perceiving and experiencing this is far bigger than the actual scenario.
Ah. So, like, your response and your feeling is disproportionate to the situation.
Correct.
Well, we're gonna talk more about that
Well, that's
later.
another indicator that you want to get some additional help. Like whether
Yeah.
it's curiosity, whether it's coaching, whether it's a friend, whether it's professional, like you can figure that out. But I know for me, when those things are disproportionate, for me, that's usually a pretty good indicator that I need some professional help.
Yeah. Yeah. Y'all need to send Elizabeth a thank you note for being able to be this vulnerable and talk about this. If you're listening, man, in the reviews, give her a little thank you because this doesn't sound like it sounds like it's a little bit ta more taxing and a little bit more difficult to talk about than what we normally talk about on our podcast. And so if you're listening, give Elizabeth a little shout out because I think that should happen.
Thank you. I would actually really appreciate that.
And I think it's just part of like connecting us all as humans, right? I think
Um,
that there's something to be said about feeling a connection with people who might be experiencing something that you're experiencing, you know?
right, right.
So that's one of your call to actions is to share a little bit, share a little bit about maybe what you appreciated about this episode in the reviews. But also, notice one moment you need help but hesitate to ask. Name your worry, your commitment, and assumption, and then choose one experiment. Find a way to test it, and then reflect on it. Ask before you talk yourself out of it. Do it before you talk yourself out of it. Remember, like asking questions or strategic questions, it's not a competence signal, it's not a weakness signal. Struggling silently doesn't make you look capable because what are people going to say? Why didn't you ask? Right? It makes you feel less effective. Everybody needs the help. And the difference between those who get it and don't is who's willing to ask for it. So you don't need to know everything to deserve to be here. Do your thing this week. Ask for help if you need help.
Yeah. So, like Rose said, we would love to connect with you. You can leave us a review. You can join us on Facebook at Communication Skills for Working Women. You can also reach out to us on our website, communicateconnectthrive.com. Until next time, speak clearly and listen bravely.
When you feel confident in your communication, everything changes.
We'd love to hear your wins, failures, and insights on Instagram at Communication Skills for Women. Leave a review and connect with us.
Until next time, speak clearly and listen bravely.